Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. And this video is to talk about the brand new expansion slash DLC that has been announced, not released yet, announced for Total War Warhammer, the Call of the Beastmen. It looks like our assumptions were correct. The Beastmen will come on July 28th, which is 13 days from now, just about 2 weeks. Here is a link to the Steam DLC page for the Call of the Beastmen. I will leave a link in the description for you guys. This is interesting. This is pretty interesting. It's an interesting kind of DLC expansion pack. So first off, I'm just gonna get it out of the way. This is an expensive DLC, $18.99. Okay, that's full price. There's actually a 10% discount, special promotion. If you pre-order, it's $17.09 US or $17.09 US dollars. I know it's different for people in other countries. And so at the base, you get the new Beastmen race in the Grand Campaign. You get 2 new playable legendary lords, I believe, for the Beastmen, right? There's a new Eye for an Eye story campaign. We'll talk about that. And I guess there's, quote, hordes of new units, monsters, heroes, magic, and game features, no pun intended. So the Beastmen are a horde faction. First off, that kind of worries me because I'm not gonna lie, horde gameplay as the Chaos Warriors, if you do own that DLC and you play as the Chaos Warriors, it's a little, I don't want to say boring, but I want to say disappointing. I don't know. There's something about being a horde, especially in Total War Warhammer. It was okay in Attila. It was all right. It wasn't amazing. And I think some of the problems have carried on to Total War Warhammer. So playing as a horde is a little weird in Total War Warhammer. The fact that the Beastmen are a horde is, it's cool. It fits their playstyle, I guess. It fits according to the lore. I've kind of studied a little bit on the lore, but I'm a little worried about the gameplay, right? So they're supposed to be a feral, chaos-tainted horde race, and they move like a plague, and they are particular enemies of the Empire, so that's pretty interesting, and Bretonia. So let's talk about the Eye for an Eye campaign. So it's supposed to be a compact story campaign. You play as a Beastman Legendary Lord, and this is the size of the map. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. I'll show you, the link is in the description, so you can check it out for yourself. But I guess it goes from the Reichland channel, I guess, where Reichland is, all the way to southern Hawkland. So that's interesting. From the number of settlements on here, it doesn't look like it's a huge campaign map. Maybe fairly big. Not something crazy, but I guess it looks okay. Like I said, they're a horde. They operate with chaos corruption, so they cause attrition to enemy units in their, quote, territory, sort of, not really. They have to have horde chaos corruption to be able to move around, I believe. That's my knowledge. There's some new army stances, I guess. They can hide in encampments, and you can hide basically as with the Chaos Warriors. You can encamp, but here with the Beastmen, you're actually hidden. You can't be seen except by enemy lords, so that's interesting. They can raid. They can increase bestial rage, I guess. Each army led by a Beastman Lord has a bestial rage meter. The meter rises until a new Bray herd is summoned. An AI-controlled Beastman horde that can be directed by the player to specific targets. So basically WOG, right? WOG. That's what it is. It's a copy of WOG. It's kind of a shame, but whatever. Or Authority from Total War Attila, right? Horde Unity or whatever the hell it was. Let's see. There's, I guess, apparently unique post-battle options. You can raise and loot a settlement, right? So you can destroy it but loot it before you do it. Or you can raise and defile, which destroys a settlement and erects some sort of blasphemy in its place, a blasphemous monument, and this generates major chaos corruption in the province and gives you a population growth on your horde. So that's cool. That's okay. New legendary lords, this guy named Kazrak the One Eye, and there's this other guy, Malagar the Dark Omen. Very, very nice. Some new heroes here. They can the Beastmen can recruit Gore Bulls and then Bray Shamans. They have some apparently unique abilities. So apparently the Beastmen troops have resilience, an ability common to all units in the Beastmen roster. Resilience prevents the attrition caused by infighting between hordes in close proximity on the campaign map. So I guess if you have like 2 different Beastmen hordes together, you won't suffer that infighting attrition, I guess. But you have to combine the hordes, I guess. So you have to have them close to each other on the campaign map. It's kind of ambiguous. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these details provided by Creative Assembly are a little ambiguous. Apparently you have some sort of primal fear. I imagine this works a little bit like the savage orcs. You know, they have the war paint ability, right? So they're beastlier, and they're kind of, you know, they have better melee attack charge bonus. They have better speed for certain units who have the quote primal fury ability, not fear, sorry, primal fury. I guess Centigrades are rowdy. Soul Eater, Thunderous Charge, Vanguard deployment. Most of the Beastmen troops are vanguards, so they can deploy outside the normal deployment zone. That's pretty interesting. So let's talk about the unit roster. I've had a lot of time to read on Reddit about the unit roster, and a lot of people are pretty pissed. Okay, so for tier 1, we got some missile and melee infantry, pretty standard stuff. Warhounds, so Chaos Warhounds, it seems like, I think, pretty much a base copy from the Chaos roster. Tier 2 would be melee infantry with axe and shields, spearmen with shields, and then better Chaos Warhounds with poison. Tier 3 is melee monstrous cavalry. The Centigrades, the Gore Herd is melee infantry with axes. Axe infantry, they have another with shields. That's axe and shields. And then they have, I guess, melee monstrous beasts, armor piercing. Those are Razor Gores herds. That's weird. And then they have Minotaurs, actually, who are monstrous infantry and they're armored. So that's tier 3. Tier 3 is actually pretty decent. Tier 4 is a Bestiger herd, which is a great axis, armor piercing, melee infantry. We have Chaos Spawn. Pretty standard stuff, I think. Centigrades with throwing axes. Excuse me. Those are monstrous missile cavalry. They're armor piercing. They're shielded very fast. I imagine they'd operate to, you know, in a similarity to Marauder horsemen with throwing axes and such. Probably not somebody that you'd want to charge in a battle right away. You know, it might be fragile troops, but who knows? They got Razor chariots. This one's kind of weird. I didn't know Beastmen could use chariots. It's a little strange to me. And then they have Minotaurs with shields. That's pretty nice. And then you just get tier 5. You get Centigrades with great weapons. You get Minotaurs with great weapons. You get a guy called a Sigurd. I think he's a giant sort of bull-looking guy, and he's monstrous artillery. He's got a special ranged weapon. He's very long range, and he causes terror. And then there's a Chaos Giant, right? So pretty standard stuff here. So this releases on July 28th for a base price of $18.99. Scaled down to $17.09 if you pre-order. So I like the DLC. I think we're gonna have some fun with it. I'm glad that they're releasing some new content so early. It's only been a month after release, actually less than a month. Yeah, when this DLC is released, it would have been May, June, July. I think 2 months after release, right? So we're getting there. We're getting somewhere. But I do have reservations. One, there's a problem with just the price. Okay, I won't lie. I imagine this DLC is kind of similar to The Last Roman from Total War Attila, but I actually think, if my knowledge serves me correct, that The Last Roman was actually cheaper than $18.99. I know it also didn't provide, quote, a new race in Total War Attila, The Last Roman, but, you know, I guess that is that worth the price jump? I don't know, actually. Almost $20, and actually in some countries it's probably $20. I think it's £20 in England right now, or United Kingdom, sorry, and I think it's a little more expensive in Canada as well, in Europe, in addition to that. So the price worries me. Second is the Horde gameplay. The Horde mechanics, I guess, of Total War Warhammer, they do kind of worry me. Like I said, I haven't played a lot with Chaos, and that might not be a good thing, right? I mean, a Horde gameplay has never really interested me, whether it was in Attila or even right now, and I imagine that other people might find that, hey, there's, you know, it's not that fun being a Horde and trying to make it work. You know, there's constant battles, not being able to hold down territory. Sometimes it's just kind of a turnoff. I don't know. It's so there's that problem. I guess it wouldn't make sense in the lore to have them, you know, occupy territory to settle territory. But still, the price concerns me. The unit roster, I guess, is kind of concerning. A lot of people on Reddit, I might actually post this as well on the description. A lot of people on Reddit are actually pretty pissed that a lot of units are left out of the lore in this DLC. I guess there's a lot of things that Total War Warhammer is going to be leaving out. This we're going into speculation now, but for me anyway, I have a problem with Creative Assembly's marketing strategy. So I could probably guarantee you, I maybe might bet you money that they planned this to release this DLC at this price with this content. I guarantee you they planned this probably months ago. I'd probably guarantee you. And that's a problem to me. I know that new factions and stuff should cost money, but is $20 worth a new faction, a new campaign, 2 legendary lords, right? I mean, you know, we had, for God's sakes, and Total War Rome 2, if you pre-ordered, you get the Greek states, you know, Greek states faction pack, right? You get to play as Athens, Sparta, and what was it, Epirus. You know, for pre-order, for God's sakes, you got 3 new factions. Here, you get 1 new faction and a new campaign and some new units and monsters, hero and magic and game features for $20, right? That's a third of the game. This game was $59.99 on release. So I'm worried about Creative Assembly's marketing strategy. I like Creative Assembly and I like Total War Warhammer, but I don't know if this is the best option for the community and this is the best image for the game. I think crap like this is gonna remind people, hey, this is Creative Assembly. These guys, you know, they're rip-offs sometimes. Really, they shell out every little faction, every little feature they can for money, right? They only want your money. So there's a concern. There's a huge concern here as far as the marketing strategy goes. I'm really concerned about their plans for the future, right? In addition to releasing sequels, in addition to releasing more expansions, right? What is it that Creative Assembly is trying to get at? What are they itching at? You know, could this faction maybe have been released on launch? I don't know. I mean, we're only 2 months later in development. Did they really just come up with this faction in 2 months? You know, is that how that worked? Or did they already plan everything out and did they just cut this content and say, hey, in 2 months we'll just release it for $20 and people will buy it? You know, I'm worried. I'm worried about their marketing strategies. I would hope that they'd be a little more honest and a little more generous with their content. I mean, making games is expensive. I'll give it to them. It's really expensive. Don't get me wrong. I understand the capitalism part of it, but maybe they could have cut the price down a little bit, right? $18.99. Honestly, for $14 or $15, I would probably buy this. Hell, at $9.99, you've got my money. But at $20, it makes me worried about their marketing ethics. You know, it makes me worried about what they're trying to do. But anywho, I'll leave that up to you. I will go ahead and leave a link for this in the description. And you know, I hope to see you guys soon. I will buy this DLC and we will play it. So I will see you guys around. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more.